Tiny used to be a sword swallower, and that's not a joke.
No, I tried that once. It was not pleasant. I threw up things my neighbors ate. Because apparently the human body has 3 gag reflexes. The third one is the most tricky one to get past. And I did not get past it.
Oh, no. Hey, everybody. I'm Dane Holland, and I'm the captain now.
Ooh. I'm Austin Shazam Pfeiffer, and you don't tell me what I look like.
I'm Marcus Whitaker, also known as I Am Electric Man, and your soul is mine.
I'm Austin Tiny Zent, and I'm the world's greatest detective because I find things that should not be found.
I hate you.
Welcome to Nerd It Through the Grapevine. It's a podcast where 4 best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. And today, who did I say was going to go first?
Me.
Yay!
Yeah.
Tiny goes first. I want to hear every word he has to say.
Yes. So
After these messages. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about unsung hero of nerdism. It's not somebody we typically think of. I mean, he's got this big, beautiful, giant wrinkle brain, not a small, weird, smooth brain.
I thought you were about to say beard, and I thought you were talking about yourself.
No. I'm talking about the one and only Kevin Patrick Smith.
I know of Kevin Smith.
Yes. No, when you hear of him, you don't typically think nerdy stuff. You know, you think like Clerks and movies of that sort. He was born in August 2nd, 1970. He's a filmmaker, an actor, a comedian, a comic book writer, an author, and a podcaster. He's actually one of the OG podcasters. He helped establish the platform. He didn't invent it, but he helped make it what it is today. A lot of people don't actually realize that. He was out there long before Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan's podcast sucks.
Suck it, Joe.
90% of the time.
Suck it, Joe.
Also, Kevin, we can be bros. I mean, listen to the Joe Hill ep, and you'll know how to contact me. And I think it'd be really cool to hang out with. But what's really cool about Kevin is he's a self-made man. You know, he grew up poor in New Jersey. Like his movie Clerks, it was all self-funded. He went to the Vancouver School of Film, I think it was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He went for a few months and he met Scott Mosier, and he ended up leaving because he's like, well, I know enough to make a movie at this point, and I'm going to save some money and put it towards my first film, which is Clerks. And the location that it's filmed at is the little convenience store that he was actually working at the time. So he would work there during the day and then film at night with all of his friends, which I thought was super cool. And the reason it's shot in black and white is it was cheaper to get black and white film at the time than color film. It's not that it wasn't there; it was just so much cheaper.
That kind of added to the cult classiness.
It did, because it had the grainy and all that. Like, yeah. I don't love the first Clerks movie, but I appreciate more about it than actually enjoy it.
Yeah,
because, like I said, he's a self-made man, and he's made some weird stuff. Like, he's almost through with his True North trilogy. We're waiting on the 3rd movie to drop, and hopefully he'll actually make it. The True North trilogy so far consists of Tusk and Yoga Hosers, and so we're waiting on Moose Jaw, which is essentially going to be like Jaws, but with a moose. Because, it's super cool.
What medium is this?
A film.
Okay.
He was like watching Natty G and watching about, meese, because that's the plural of moose. Sticking to it. And he found that they can hold their breath for long periods of time, and they'll actually go down into creeks and stuff and eat the grass at the bottom.
What?
And then they'll actually like shoot up out the top like a shark. So he's like, Moose Jaw, this will be awesome.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm totally waiting on this movie. I'm so down to watch it.
Now, I know the first one is where they grow tusks like out of their. No, they turn into a walrus.
A guy gets kidnapped and gets slowly turned into a walrus.
I've never
Right.
heard or seen of this.
It's actually
Lord.
it's I like it, but it's very dark.
I'm cool with that.
It was his first foray into his second real foray into horror, but the first
What'd you just call me?
Hey.
well his first foray was actually Red State, which was a very cool movie. It's based on Westboro Baptist Church.
Nice.
I think it was his brother is a member of the LGBTQ plus community, and he made a documentary about Westboro Baptist. And so Kevin was watching it like late one night in the dark, and he was like, man, this Fred Phelps is a creepy dude. And it inspired him to write the movie Red State.
Cool.
Which was super awesome. Great movie. And he received so much backlash on the movie that they was actually protesting his screenings of it, which led to counter protests, which were some of the best things ever. Like people out there with signs like, I hate Ewoks, because he was like, screw these guys, And he, at every single screening that he was at, he had tickets for the Phelps family to actually come in and view the movie, which I found to be hilarious. And obviously they never did. They never took him up on the offer. But, at the same time of him hating what they're doing, he was like, why don't you just come in and maybe you'll learn a little something, which is one reason why I think he's such a cool, dynamic person. And bringing it back to like the nerdism, to fund the movie Clerks, he sold off his comic book collection and he got roughly $30,000. And that's what he funded it on.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, he must have had like so many comic books.
But then he owned the secret stash later on.
He owns the secret stash. He had, the show Comic Book Men, which is, filled of his childhood best friends that he made a bunch of his movies with. And the guy that operates the secret stash, Walter Flanagan, they actually wrote several Batman comics together, which was really cool. I should have took notes, but I read the wiki. And if you want to know what they are, read the wiki. Because
if you like Kevin Smith, have you seen the movie Mallrats?
I've not seen Mallrats. I've heard it's really good.
I can't deal with you right now.
Well, I've seen a lot of his other stuff, but that's not one that I've seen. I need to go back through his OG movies, and I just haven't really had the time.
Dogma?
The energy. I have seen Dogma. I've
Dogma
seen that around the
was
time it come out.
fantastic. I love that movie.
He's the type of
really
guy
good.
that's going to write things exactly the way he wants to
Yeah.
without like any supervision, because as soon as you start to try to make tweaks to his stuff, he's going to have backlash on you right away.
He owns the company View Askew. That's his filmmaking company. Like the movie Cop Out is one of his movies. And the only reason he made it was so he could make enough money to make Red State.
Oh.
Because like I said, it was based on his brother's documentary. So he wrote the movie as kind of an homage to his brother, and the documentary that he made based on the Phelps family and this gay bar in this small town. And after Cop Out, he was like, I'm only going to make movies that I want to make. And so he went back to his roots of independent filmmaking.
Yeah.
And that's where you get his True North trilogy, Tusk and Yoga Hosers.
What is Yoga Hosers? I'm familiar with Tusk, and
And where can I see these movies?
now Moose Jaw.
I have seen several of them on Netflix. Moose Jaw right now is not made. Yoga Hosers, you remember, you've seen Tusk, so you remember the gas station with his daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter? They're the clerks.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so Yoga Hosers is a movie based around those two characters.
From Clerks?
Yes. No, not Clerks. Tusk.
Oh, from Tusk. Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it stars Harley Quinn Smith and Johnny Depp's daughter, which I don't remember her name.
Gotcha.
It's it's weird. It's Kevin Smith. Come
Yeah.
on, he makes weird
Right.
movies.
And one of the biggest things with him, as far as like being in the news, because he's not really an upfront name with a lot of stuff anymore, because like you said, he's doing what he wants to do,
Right.
and that's not what the populace like is all about. Like
He's pretty big on the internet, though.
yeah, it's
yeah.
an internet name, but
Yeah.
a big thing happened. His weight was getting out of hand and stuff, and I think it was a heart attack.
Yeah, he had a heart attack. He had one of the main arteries in his heart. I think had like 90-something% blockage. It was actually the Widowmaker one. So he should have died.
Yeah.
And he has this really, like, you should actually go find the podcast that he talks about it, because it's a very epic, his like realization that he had through that, and talking about, I've had a great life and this will be a beautiful death. So it's actually pretty inspiring, really.
Yeah. I mean, he's got kind of a dark like sense of direction, really, with most of the things he does. So when it comes to his own life, it's kind of, I mean, it's morbid, but it's kind of neat to know that it stems all the way in the back of his like being.
I've got an analogy.
You have an analogy.
I have an analogy, a comparison, if you will.
Okay.
He is like if Tim Burton decided instead of LSD, he would just smoke pot.
Pretty much. I mean, you're not wrong.
Okay.
Very creative brain, very imaginative, very complex with a lot of the way he writes stuff, because he's got a lot of stuff that are kind of hidden in there that you have to watch more than once to kind of figure out it's there, like the plot of Jersey Girl.
I thought you were just gonna say like the plot period,
look,
like of everything.
Like I said, he's got big wrinkle raisin brain.
He got big ring. That was
But has he
that
not
was
written for like in Hollywood for a while? I mean, he writes for things, right?
Oh yeah.
He's like directed several episodes of like Green Arrow, The Flash, and several things like that.
He
But
wrote
mostly what he writes, he makes.
Right. Okay.
Like,
But I just remember, because this is what I appreciate about him. He tells a story somewhere on the internet, and he was writing some like a Supergirl, I think, when it was on TV.
correct
Episode, and
correct.
we might have even said this on the podcast before, but anyway, the execs wanted to change the episode and put this giant spider thing in it.
I think I do
Was it a
remember that one of his
Spider-Man?
podcasts.
No, it was like this big robot spider
Good,
that
because-
ended up being in Wild Wild West.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I
Did
remember
we
talked
mention
about
this?
that. Uh huh.
Okay, yeah. So like, yeah, his whole stance of like how like those people who do that in Hollywood should just like let writers do their job.
Exactly. And, he's not afraid to let the actors improv. Like initially, like in the movie Dogma, Chris Rock improvs one particular line, and I don't remember what the line was, but this was young Kevin Smith early in his career, and he looked at Chris Rock and he's like, that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard, but unfortunately I'm going to have to cut it from the movie. And Chris was like, why? If it's that good and that funny, why are you doing that? He goes, what am I going to put, like, movie written by Kevin Smith except for this one line by Chris Rock? And Chris Rock is like, you don't have to do that. I don't care. I improv the line to make the movie better. He's like, use it, please. And then he learned, hey, I can also let the actors be the character and have their own input. So, but like you're saying, like from studios and things, he's like, nah, I don't want to do that, especially after Cop Out.
You know who I wish he would reel in a little bit?
Who?
Jason Mewes.
Yeah,
He's not going to be with us much
there.
longer, boys.
No, I mean, the way he lives. Yeah.
Did you?
Supposedly, he's gotten clean and sober.
I've heard that too. I'm friends with a relative of his, but it's like, I don't know,
Name
man.
drop.
Huh?
Name drop.
No, I'm not name dropping. him.
No. I'm saying that was a name drop.
No, I didn't
without
drop the name. I
True.
just dropped the relative relation.
It was
Yeah.
like anonymous drop.
I hate you. Still, I'm
love me.
still fuming. But yeah,
I'm the world's greatest
Did you ever
detective.
watch the Jay and Silent Bob reboot?
I have not.
God, man,
Honestly, I'm going to be real honest right here. I've not watched any of the Jay and Silent Bob movies.
get the.
No. See, I'm a recent Kevin Smith fan. Okay, I've not been like on his junk for years. This is a very recent thing, and it actually
a good
stemmed
nose
from Red State. That's what got me in there. And one thing that's really cool, the movie Tusk, they actually come up with a plot on a podcast, which I thought was super
that's
cool.
neat.
So you can listen to the podcast, and it kind of gives you a synopsis of the movie. Obviously, he changed some stuff.
Yeah.
But they were just sitting there joking around, cutting up about this article they found in this newspaper in Britain, And he's like, well, what if it's this, and what if this happens, and this and this and this, and then they have this movie all fleshed out.
Tusk is the reason why, when watching New Girl, I'm uncomfortable with Genslinger, because Justin Long was that character, and he was just absolutely bad. It was the things that happened to him.
Oh yeah, at the end of that movie, I watched it with my friend Zach Mosley and his wife Alicia, and I can't remember who the other person was, but we're all sitting there after the credits are rolling, and we look at each other, and I think it was my friend Zach. He looks at me and he goes, I feel like we need to go to the park and watch little kids play. And I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, not in a creepy way, but they're innocent, and I feel like mine has been taken. And I was like,
just want to see what it's like
I'm
again.
like, I completely feel you on that.
Well, if I had any innocence about Kevin Smith, you took that from me. So
Yes, I did.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's fantastic.
You know, the physical transformation of Kevin Smith actually is kind of inspiring.
Go on.
I mean, you got to think there's people that do these ginormous physical transformations, and actually the way he did it too was going vegan.
Yes.
And
I didn't know that.
solved a lot of his issues. And man, seeing the before pictures and what he's like right now, I never knew he was so big.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, you know what? You can buy new clothes.
True.
But he
well,
doesn't.
I mean, the reason he wore hockey jerseys was to cover his massive
I get it. Now it's a part of his
form, you know?
identity. So
Yeah.
It's like Guy Fieri
Stuck
and
with
his dang bowling shirts. He didn't choose them. The bowling shirts chose him. And that's seriously how it happened. Okay, that's completely off what I was going to get onto here. But
we'll
that
have
was
a whole
too,
Guy Fieri.
that was
thing
too.
way
No,
later.
I can't get started on the
Flavor
I can't-
Town.
You will.
I can't get started.
We're gonna have a
on
whole
him.
Flavor Town episode.
Oh my god, I love Flavor Town.
I just
can
wanna
stay
lick
in Flavor Town.
everything there.
And you know, no. No,
He's reeling it back.
But Kevin
Passing
Smith's
dogs.
body transformation is kind of, it's incredible because he did it for health purposes and he achieved his goal of longevity. But there are a lot of people out there that end up injuring themselves or permanently damaging themselves in pursuit of unrealistic body issues that are not based on health performance or health wise. That it's aesthetically pleasing, like they're chasing after, to look like something else that's not what they see in the mirror. Like if somebody is enough of a, I guess they've got enough of a poor self-image that they can't actually see what's in front of them. I mean, myself being one of them, I've always had that struggle to, I look at the mirror, that's what it is. Oh man, but there's this. Oh man, but there's that. So, but I think a lot of that's driven by a lot of the stuff that I've seen and a lot of stuff that I've been really, really into. And that's kind of always been superheroes because it's like you look in the mirror, you see fat, flabby Bubble Boy, and he's not a superhero. But in all reality, he just eats way too much fast food and is really depressed. So
That's your superpowers.
that was but yeah, if you fix that and your diet's in check and you can get mentally healthy, that's great. But the way that these actors and the way that they achieve these body types is absolutely insane. And it's dangerous at some points because, like, Sylvester Stallone had to be hospitalized several times during the filming of not Rocky, but it was Rambo 3. The one where he went to the Middle East, where he was like super tan and you can see like every vein in his like body. Yeah, he had to be hospitalized multiple times in that kind of a display of masculinity because his body was so dehydrated from having to stay that shredded look that he wouldn't drink water for 2 days.
Is that why his veins were showing so much?
Yeah, that's why his veins were
dehydration?
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman did that for
Exactly,
Wolverine
and
too.
that's one of my favorite ones on this list because one of my favorite quotes that I read about this was he was giving an interview with somebody. I forget. I read like 20 different articles, but he had said basically the human body can die after 3 days with no water. So basically, they get you 80% of the way there and say roll it.
And then you get to drink water after you do the scenes.
Until they're finished, yeah.
Wow, that's rough.
Out in the desert.
Yeah. At the same time, too, that was, he pulled off the look for that role. Like that was exactly what he went for, and that's what he achieved. But that people don't understand that was for a few hours of his life that he looked that way.
Mm-hmm.
people see, I remember the big thing back whenever I was dealing with all this was 300. Oh, help me. Oh, help me. Because you look at that and you're just like, man.
That's a bunch of beefy boys.
I'd look good as a beefy boy. I need to make me a beefy boy.
I'm a chicken kid right now. I need to be a beefy boy.
And that's the internet back in 2006.
Yeah.
So now the internet 2021 can tell you they were all spray painted and CGI blended to look that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's absolutely earth-shattering. They did a great job, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like enough to hurt my soul. Like
Yeah.
my
Well-
my 17-year-old, I have a body issue soul, but that was what I sought to be. The 300 workout. It was, I did it.
Yeah.
That was awful, stupid.
It's like I get where you're coming from because like I'm a big guy. I've always been a big guy, and I've learned over time to love myself for who I am. If I lose weight, awesome. If I stay a big hefty dude, awesome. I'm still me. I'm still happy in my own skin. And sometimes you have to get past what people do around you because you're judged based on how you look. I've been in Walmart getting food and had mothers grab their kids and run away from me just because of what I look like. And their little kid looks at me because, well, I've got piercings, I've got tattoos, I'm a monstrously sized man, and they smile and wave, so I try to be like an ambassador for people that look like me. So I'll smile and I'll wave to the little kid, nothing creepy, just like, hey, if you see people like me, we're friendly. Don't think we're all just terrible people. And then there's mom like, come on, don't look at him. And it's like,
The devil made him in his image.
yeah. And then at the same time,
Satan is his father.
the media gets us to this mindset of, well, you have to be emotionless. You can't cry. And you can beep this, but that. Because if I see something sad in a movie, I'm not ashamed that I'm going to cry.
Oh, I'm
I will
in on
say
it.
we watched A Walk to Remember in English class in high school, and I cried like a baby. That was a sad movie. It was also a very good movie, and I'm not ashamed of that. And we shouldn't be.
My most recent cry was
Sorry for hijacking your topic.
Rebels, Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, yeah, I
Towards the
walked
end
in
of
on that one.
Oh,
Actually, we walked out on that one.
you walked out. Yeah, you were leaving while
we were
Carly and
leaving
I
for
were
work.
crying on the couch because it's just it was so sad, but so good.
But that's one of the things that I like about the Star Wars universe so much is because they leave everybody just normal. They are normal. They've got powers and magic and suits of armor and fly spaceships, but guess what? They're normal.
I'm trying to remember. Well, I don't know. Kylo took his shirt off.
That's normal.
Remember that? Remember how weird it looked on the screen, like on the
Yeah.
widescreen?
Yeah.
It didn't really look that wide, square, boxy.
All you saw was his nipples.
Yeah, because his pants were pulled up past his belly button.
Let me tell you what
I
I,
don't
saw.
remember that.
No? I remember it very, very well.
I'll have to Google
saw-
this.
Every detail.
I saw 300 grams of creatine and 2 gallons of water a day. That's what I saw.
Yeah, that's the only way.
The boy was puffy.
Oh, yeah. Very puffy.
The Jedi Slayer.
Yeah, I mean, trying to get back to the topic, I think people should just realize that this is the movies, and real people don't look like that. Not all of them. Some people do,
Yeah.
Some people
It
are
takes
blessed
a
like
lot
that.
of work.
Even the actors themselves are just like, nah, I don't do that. No, that's not the way that I like lifting weights, but the amount of cardio they made me do, no. Hugh Jackman's like
Well,
the worst about it.
especially-
He said if I work out heavy and I just do my routine the way that I like to do my routine, he's like, I can stay in well enough shape. But if I go by what I'm supposed to be doing, he's like, no, there's no way that I could do that all the time.
Plus, just like how they Photoshop these like magazine covers and things like that to these like perfect ratios, to make them appealing. It's like, man, like how maybe we should stop doing stuff like that.
Well, they're portraying like our version of myth, like our,
Right,
our
yeah.
mythical gods, like
Yeah, sure.
Superman and
Yeah,
Batman.
they're
and all these
ideals.
guys.
They're ideals.
and they're drawn.
They're idealistic,
Yes.
therefore unrealistic.
Right. but we're doing everything we can.
It's not bad to look at somebody and be like, I strive to be that. If that's, within your realm of possibility, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No.
It's just,
don't
people
either.
don't need to take it all that
Absolutely not.
seriously.
I just think that at a specific age, though, like, I think it has to do with like masculine development or something like that. Like you're very vulnerable and susceptible to finding what you imagine yourself as. Like what's your self-image? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's talked about enough, like how this can or affect negatively.
Humans.
Yeah.
Of all, yeah.
There was somebody else too that I wanted to mention that made this list, and I feel so bad for mentioning his name, but it was Ryan Reynolds. Because he was the opposite of the majority of people. Because Ryan Reynolds was a skinny boy. He was a little dude. Watch like Van Wilder, and you'll see just skinny boy. Then let's watch Blade Trinity.
Jeez.
And he makes, like, I think the way that Hugh Jackman got shredded for the Wolverine was pretty awesome. Like, I get it. It's very unhealthy, but it's physically, displaying like that. That's epic to do that. But Ryan Reynolds... hot damn.
Yeah.
But no, he was. He said that is not how he likes to live his life. Like that.
Well, it's got to be torture. Like
it
getting
is
to that point.
Just to attain that physique for that role, he put on nearly 30 pounds of mass within about a 9-month period, and.
I'd be like, why don't you just call the director of 300 and ask him how they did that?
Yeah.
And just, that's what we'll do. How about that?
But-
Because I'm not doing this.
Shortly after that movie, he filmed another movie called The Amityville Horror. And he was the main character in The Amityville Horror. He was the dad that was trying to murder the kid.
Why don't I remember this?
Wasn't he a beefy buff boy in that one too?
He was, because that was right thereafter. So, but that was him in the stage. That was him coming down from what the diet and everything he had and workout routine and everything was. And he was like, I don't know, he was scary looking.
Oh, yeah.
And then wasn't he buried in a box for a movie too?
Buried.
Yeah, it was called The Box.
No, buried.
Yeah, in the box.
Wasn't it like 6 feet under or something?
And he just had like a cell phone.
100 and,
Well,
Yeah, off topic. I was just like, wasn't that him too?
what was it? What'd you say it was called?
137
It's
hours.
called Buried?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you sure about that?
Pretty sure.
I don't know.
I own the movie. It's terrible.
Alexa?
No, she'll activate in the living room.
Alexa?
She'll tell him to take a shift.
Oh, another one too. Like, because this was early on, and this isn't even like a superhero movie, but you get to thinking about like Henry Cavill and all those guys, like Ben Affleck. And they did some intense workout programs for what they were doing as well, but they only kept that physique for a short amount of time. Then they slack off until it's time to get into a prep phase again, and then they get back into that kind of shape. That's not the way they live their lives. The only one that kind of does that is Chris Hemsworth, and that's just because that's who he's always been. Naturally athletic. He's a surfer. He just loves sports. He loves going gliding, and he's crazy. Dude's cool. But even whenever he was filming Thor, they were like, okay, they saw him take his shirt off, and they're like, okay, you're gonna have to cut some water. So they made him go like 2.5 days without water, just to make sure that he looked veiny enough to lift that hammer up out of the rain. And
We're all better for it, though.
and then they told him he was too big.
They told him he was too big?
Yeah. So
He's too big to be the
god of
god
thunder.
Of thunder.
Tell me
You're
about
too
it.
large. You're a human being, and you're too big.
Yeah, so even the ideals, like they have people telling them, like, oh, well, yeah, you could look better.
And
You're not vascular enough.
and The Rock,
And now you're too
looking
big.
at stuff that like Dwayne The Rock Johnson is in, which is a majority of stuff.
He made it into another episode, boys.
I know, I
Yes.
I was
Not
sitting
even
here
forced
thinking his
either.
name,
It
and
wasn't
I'm
even forced.
I was intentionally not
That
saying
actually didn't
it.
even think about that.
He's
That's-
here.
Welcome, Dwayne. So
He needs to just be on this thing.
he enjoys that lifestyle, because there are some people that are driven towards that bodybuilding, workout, grunt it out kind of lifestyle, and that's just kind of the way he lives. And it's kind of like the way Arnold used to. But anyway, I thought it was, I thought it was nifty that, he made it on another episode. That got me totally off like my train of thought, discovering that I was going to talk about Dwayne The Rock Johnson, then I forgot to talk about him, and then we mentioned him again. So.
He's in like literally 80% of our episodes so far.
He needs to be a guest on here.
Name drop.
Also,
I cannot tell you.
Mr. Johnson, listen to the Joe Hill episode. That's how you can contact us.
Body transformations. Yeah, I don't know how to segue from that.
No, that was a really good segue. Just the phrase "body transformations." It makes me want to think. What are you going to talk about?
A few hours ago, I was just on my phone and I saw this picture, and it looked like Liu Kang and Kung Lao, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Apparently, Warner Brothers is actually making a Mortal Kombat movie, and we've talked about this on the podcast.
Yes, we have.
But I don't know. I didn't know that they were actually making one.
That
Did
was
y'all know
real?
that?
Are they remaking one?
Yes.
Because there was 2 already.
No,
right. And we've seen how bad they can get.
Yeah.
And so I need y'all's predictions right now.
Have we? Is this
on
real?
Literally this amount of information.
That is
Mortal Kombat movie. The director is Simon McCoy, and he's done one other movie, and I've never heard of it. It's called like In This Time, Nighttime Economy, or something like that.
your notes page has a title
Yes.
and the name of the director,
Yes.
and then it's a lot of blank spaces.
It is.
It's
Because-
not blank. There's lines.
No,
Yeah.
okay,
And
well,
it's
lined paper.
It's just like the way Tiny's van used to not have seats in the back of it.
Right.
It was, opportunity.
It does not have seats in the back of it. It used to have seats, and then I made it a sports car.
So predictions. You mean like what do we think it's going to be
Is it
about?
going to be good? Or is it going to be crap?
Off of that information,
Well,
fantastic.
listen.
Because my hopes
Well,
are at the
there's already
bottom.
the images of some of the characters: Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and it
So
does
that's
seem
real.
like, if y'all want me to spoil anything, if not, I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
it's like
it's
story
Mortal Kombat.
details.
I
It's
mean,
story details. It's not like
you can't
spoilers.
spoil Mortal
But
Kombat.
But apparently,
Yeah, there's like no story to the game.
right.
So
But they were like referencing like some sort of lore that Scorpion and Sub-Zero are like this ancient enemies, even before they had like supernatural abilities and stuff.
That's canon.
yeah, I mean that. I think lore happened way after the games,
Right, I'm sure.
Because if I
It's just
remember
a fighting
properly,
game. Just an arcade game.
that was in the first movie. That they're somehow, I think they were like brothers, but they were just opposite in so many ways, and they fought.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've
Well,
also
the
seen
director-
the timeline of the different timeline of it, because that's what I say everything is whenever it's an alternate story than what one movie tells. But it was the one where they're actually just rival clans,
Yeah.
and that one's really epic.
Well, apparently that's kind of where they're going with that story, like early on, like right when the movie begins or something like that. I mean, because there was like this interview with the director, and he basically just said, "This ain't gonna get no PG-13 rating. This is gonna be rated R.
Yeah.
and there's gonna be gore and fatalities.
Oh, it's gonna be rough.
Fatality.
It's gonna be, if you've seen the latest game of how like insanely gory it is, this movie's gonna be rough.
Well, I hope so. I mean, isn't that kind of part
It's
of the
the
draw
point.
of Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, absolutely.
But if they could really make us like believe in some of these characters, I mean, because these characters are kind of just like cartoony video game characters. But if
Yeah.
they could like really like make them characters that we care about, and then you see them get their spine ripped out,
Oof.
I think it could be a really fun like movie experience.
I
think it'd
see
be
them
pretty
get their
awesome.
spine ripped out. That'll be
mean-
so fun.
I think it could be.
Like from the lens of childhood, because I've not seen these as adults. I remember Raiden being super awesome in the movie. So, and I really hope the movie holds up, but I really doubt it does.
Yeah, I don't
just
think
like
so.
the movie that we watched the other day did not hold up as adults.
No.
But
I doubt they will.
Mortal Kombat 1, it's still good enough. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not good,
I
but
mean-
it's good enough.
There's enough nostalgia
Yeah.
that it's gooped in for me to still enjoy
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
And now Mortal Kombat Annihilation,
Garbage.
go away.
didn't they
Hey,
introduce,
guys,
like,
I'm
the green
Raiden.
dude?
Huh?
There was like a dude that looked like Sub-Zero and Scorpion, but he had like green and black. Didn't that one
Reptile?
come in there?
Talking about Reptile?
Yes,
he
thank
was
you.
in
I
the
couldn't
first
remember
one.
his name. Oh, he was in the first one?
Yeah, he was in the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder how many characters they're going to introduce in the new movie, because
So far, I've seen images of Jax, Sonya, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Liu Kang, and my favorite, Kung Lao,
right. So
with
they're
his
going-
hat and everything.
Wait,
They're going
Kung
to the
Lao,
first
the
couple
descendant? like that Liu Kang is the descendant of Kung Lao?
With the hat, the razor blade hat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
Descendant of Kung Lao.
Right, and it looks like they're kind of. I mean, because in the movies they kind of did try to. I mean, maybe it was a budget thing. It didn't look as like fantasy, as
Right.
the games, but this one looks like they're trying to go to the root of the costume, the look of it, and everything. From the few
they
pictures
better
that we've
have
seen.
Goro in it, the little four-armed guy.
The
Because-
Little forearm.
Well,
big old boy.
okay.
That's a big
Well,
forearm.
maybe he was
guy.
talking
He
about
was
like
big.
his actual part of his arm, the forearm.
No,
was
he's
really
talking
small.
about like the TV
No, no.
you used to play the game on was really small. So to him, like that's
Yeah,
how big Goro
exactly.
is. He's
Yeah, I didn't
like
realize.
he's like 4 inches tall.
Yeah, because you hold up your thumb and he disappears.
Right, exactly. So he
it-
is
it
a
makes
little
sense.
forearm guy.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that sense.
You've got that problem too.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a giant thumb and I had a little TV at the time. But he was like so hard to beat. Like I never beat him ever. And so if he's not in the movie, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah,
Because,
honestly, he deserves to be there
Yeah.
for sure.
It's a weird concept to try to make a
make
movie out of it.
I'm
Because
so glad they're going to try.
Just
know.
pulling it out of thin air too is kind of what they're doing.
I mean,
Or
I
maybe
felt like
they
I would
listened
have
to
heard
our
about this
podcast.
before today. So
Yeah.
that's why I thought it was strange that I saw like literally images that they're releasing to try to hype the movie.
Because I think it was only rumors before this.
Maybe,
like,
I don't
think.
know.
But the latest games have been pretty popular. Like the surge of like Mortal Kombat players has gone up higher because they did dive even deeper into like, and the more like the gruesomeness of it all, and the better the graphics get, the more impactful those things are. Because originally in the first game, like that was weird graphics compared to a lot of other stuff because it was like images of these people, but mixed with like motion. And I don't know, it was very strange.
Dude, I remember the X-rays when they introduced the X-ray. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
That was
attacks,
like that was
kind of
like on
made
a-
me queasy.
That's like
Yeah,
was
they're
that
rough.
was that Xbox or was that like PS2 or no? It was PlayStation 3, I think.
I don't know, man.
Two,
There have
I
been
think.
so many of those freaking games.
Yeah, I've
but
played a bunch of them.
it's a game about controlling someone fighting one other character, and that's it. Like
right.
and
so
to
that's
say
the
let's
thing.
make a whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem strange,
I
but
mean, they did make a movie
I'm
out
in.
of Street
I'm
Fighter.
already-
And I'm
Right.
sorry
And
to tell
why
you,
did they?
Tekken did a really good job of having their own story throughout like 4 or 5 different Tekkens.
Well, that's why I'm saying. That's why I wanted to discuss it with y'all and just get your predictions right now, and we can go back and listen to it when the movie comes out to see who was right. Because, like my thing is if they could make us like really like these characters and give them horribly gruesome deaths,
I want their images.
maybe it's
spoiled
kind of
for me.
funny, maybe it's kind of epic. Then I'm in, and I'm going to say it's going to be
Is that where you're going for it? You're going for it's good. It'll be good, and they're going to actually make us like the characters and get attached to them.
More realistically, I think it's probably going to be a punch them, kick them, shoot them, fire, turn into a dragon, and blood.
Yes.
I'm okay
And
with
it's
that.
it might be kind of funny, but I don't know. I hope they kind of take it more seriously. I don't know.
So, are those pictures easily accessible on the internet?
Yeah.
Do you have your cellular device while we're
do.
talking about it, so we might be able to look at the pictures? Because that would be
Sure.
a very in-your-face, just exactly what you saw. Based off of that picture, is it going to be better than what I saw previously? Kind of
Absolutely.
situation.
So here's the image of Kung Lao and Liu Kang, and Liu Kang's got like these glowing like flames coming out of his hand.
That's
Which is
true.
awesome. But apparently they're adding a completely new made up character for the movie.
Oh.
It's like there's some like washed up MMA fighter who like kind of is like in the underground and like hears of this
Okay.
like underground tournament. He's like got shady connections and he's like hears about this underground like martial arts tournament, and that's how he kind of gets involved.
Are
in
they
going to
make him the main character?
I hope not.
That Liu Kang is not as convincing as a Liu Kang as Robin Chow was off of first glance. So
There's some more.
I mean,
too.
the image looks pretty cool. I think
think
it's
so.
going to be terrible.
There's the new character.
Yeah, that sucks.
New
I don't
character.
like that at all. But then again, I'm not a big MMA guy either. But
That's stupid.
it's dumb.
There's
It's gonna be
Sub-Zero.
so bad. There'll be some cool visuals, I think.
Yeah.
Like I would want it to be made like a kung fu movie.
Yeah, it's like, I
make
would-
it over the top,
like the Warriors of
You
Virtue.
don't like that
like the
Sub-Zero?
Warriors of
The Sub-Zero
Virtue.
looks cool. I was still shaking my head about the other thing. I was
There's
so
Jax.
on board until
People thought
that.
that Jax looked too much like Steve Harvey.
He does.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
If you've got a Googler, look up the images that we're looking at.
Wow.
So maybe I want to change my prediction.
I love Steve
There's
Harvey.
Sonya, but it's just Sonya. But then there was that one of Kung Lao and Liu Kang right there that I liked.
I just don't. I feel like Mortal Kombat's just. It should just be a video game. It doesn't need movies. If you want it to be a movie, add a really good storyline with some great cutscenes, and then you do all the fighting.
Right. See, that's
Like-
what I'm hoping for. But honestly, my prediction is probably more like, oh, it's just going to be another stupid video game movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
like most of them.
So that's Sub-Zero, Scorpion pre like ninja powers, I guess.
I hope it's just kind of like, okay, I Frankenstein, horrible movie, no plot to it.
Great
But if
visuals.
you just go in just expecting a hack and slash, it's fantastic.
That's true.
See,
if you
it is
don't,
Mortal
so
Kombat,
if-
so
if-
wouldn't that be kind of fun?
yeah,
it
if
was
they
a hack and
just do
slash?
the hack and slash thing, I'm on board.
hey, if they include
but
the
get
techno
rid
remix,
of that one guy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say if they included the techno remix of the Mortal Kombat theme song in the movie at some point, I'm already sold. That's all I do. Sold.
I mean,
Yeah, but now that you say that, that does kind of scare me. I hope they don't make this new character like, oh, well, we need somebody for the audience to relate to with all these magical characters. No, we want Liu Kang.
no, this is exactly what they're going to do. Here is my real prediction now that I've found that out. He is going to be the main character, and he's going to be the one interacting with all these like characters we know and love. Yeah.
Holy crap.
And
We
he's
can do
going
fire?
to somehow save the day at the end of it and get some kind of powers from somebody.
Guys.
And he's going to be able to unlock the dragon himself. It's going to be... Every MMA movie that exists already sucks. Almost every video game movie that exists sucks. Like, this is a combination of those things. It's going to suck, but I'm going to watch it.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to get... If I have to give money to watch it, I'll do that. But I don't want to, but I'm going to.
Good.
My epiphany that
Who's Tiffany? Is she a Mortal Kombat character that I didn't know about?
Yeah,
I knew
she's the
about
one with the
Sonya.
long tongue.
She
Okay,
also made
yeah.
lamps.
Oh, good.
Okay. Piggybacking off of what you're saying.
Hold on. Piggybacking?
Piggybacking.
Picky?
I have to pronounce my G, otherwise it'll slur. Piggybacking.
Good. I was about to have you slap that mouth.
I ain't slapping. Anyway,
Well, we know he's prone
So-
to strange proclivities.
I was into affliction at one point. It was very tight clothes.
Dark days.
Very tight clothing. Bejeweled pants. I don't remember what I was saying now.
You were
so-
going to piggyback off something.
Okay, he talked
Piggyback.
about
Oh,
getting
yeah,
a key.
the MMA fighter gets transported to the other world through a sewage tunnel because he's trying to prove to the champion fighter that he's cool enough to hang.
So this
I'm
is
so down.
this is actually a Warriors of Virtue remake that is
Okay,
clashing
but for
with
real
They
though,
have to
if
put
you've
in
got
the
just
bully breaks.
if you've got just a normal MMA fighter that has no connection or correlation with the Mortal Kombat universe, and nobody knows who he is, or maybe he's pre somebody that nobody even knows who that's supposed to be yet in the movie. Nobody knows at this point; they're just pictures. But if he's just a random MMA fighter in the movie and it's got something focusing on him, then he's going to be an otherworldly visitor to the realm of Mortal Kombat somehow.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. He has that, like I said, he's washed up. He's not where he wants to be in the MMA world, and he finds hey man, think Fight Club, like this underground, like, well, I know of this other tournament you could enter in, man.
Hold on.
And then he goes to some back room, and then Raiden's there, and he's like, oh,
Hold on a sec, though. So he fails at MMA, okay, with normal humans, normal loosely because, they're in much better shape than all of us put together. So he fails at that. So he's going to go to super-powered people land and hope to compete?
I did forget to mention, apparently so you might be right, Dan, he does have the dragon mark or whatever that supposedly, like, if Raiden sees that mark on you, then you're like a chosen one type thing.
But he still sucks at MMA. So he's gonna go fight these people with powers.
It's because he's limited in MMA. He
Or-
can't use
He hasn't
special
unlocked that third eye yet.
Or he's just holding back too much, and he doesn't know how to gauge it because he keeps getting disqualified because he's too strong, and he keeps breaking people's arms and getting disqualified.
Well, does it ever make it clear how Liu Kang got his powers?
Yeah.
Does it?
Prayer and fasting.
That's why I'm not a superhero.
Prayer and fasting, brother, and take your vitamins.
I
They're
pray,
gonna-
but I obviously do not fast.
They're gonna make a stupid MMA fighter the main character
Oh,
of a
no.
Mortal Kombat movie, Marcus.
Man, you know, I didn't see that angle until you said it.
How do they not? How do they introduce a new character that's just a dude? And how does he be this otherworldly visitor? How can he just be there while we're following all these other characters?
Yeah.
Because
He
this is
can't.
the M. Night Shyamalan
Oh God.
twist that nobody saw coming. He's actually Ryu from Street Fighter.
Well,
Oh no.
don't we already have the guy from Earth though? That's like Johnny Cage. Well, Liu Kang too is from
Yeah,
Earth.
Johnny
And
Cage is
Sonya.
like the-
and Jack.
It's a
Yeah.
Capcom crossover, bro.
So, yeah, why do we need a new character that's?
We don't need one.
Yeah,
we
we
don't
don't.
need a new movie. We don't need a new character.
I'm
but
fine
instead,
with the movie.
they did
I'm
both.
fine with the idea.
And what they're gonna
but maybe
do-
what their choices that they've made are.
And the
maybe not
reason
greatest.
they're even making a new character is so they can have a viable like DLC for the video game because that's immediately going to come out after it. Is they're going to have this new character that's apparently
I can't wait to see it.
MMAman,
Oh,
and
it's April? I don't know.
MMA?
Watch this all just be
MMA?
fake news, and I just told y'all completely.
It probably
just
is.
straight
I
up
mean,
That-
can we just Konami code past this movie? You know, up, down, left, right, BA, select, start. Can we just do that and just make it through the movie like it didn't happen? Because I'm so not on board with this anymore.
normally
What
I'll
was
give
it? The
things.
character, the extra character.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
mine
did it
too.
for you?
Yes.
That's me
because
too.
there is a pre-established storyline that is only loose at best
Yes.
with these
Very
characters.
loose.
Yes.
And the only thing that connects these characters together are the fact that you know their names and
they're gonna
their
fight each
stuff
other.
well enough to know they're going to fight in
Just
some
a bunch of
random order.
1v1s. Yeah.
Yeah.
But adding a character that has a story plot only for the movie to coexist with these people,
Imagine a character not even looking cool enough to want to play them in the video game to where you're interacting with it and having all this fun. Okay, that one character that you refuse to play as because he's the most boring, and even your little brother that has the controller not plugged in, he doesn't even want to be that character. That's going to be the main character of a movie that we're going to have to sit through for 2 hours.
And watch, he's gonna have like a signature move or something.
Yes.
That's like straight out of MMA.
Absolutely. He's going to be the other, like a green dragon compared to Liu Kang's like red dragon. Like it's going to be this. Oh, it's going to be so stupid. And
Oh,
we
man,
just
that gives
probably
me
named-
hope.
Okay, no, real
That gives
quick,
me hope.
real quick. We can probably run through this whole movie like now, and
I'm
if
in.
it's right,
Let's do it.
if it actually
Let's do it.
happens,
give me a
I know
We don't need a pen. We're recording this.
we're
thing.
recording it. We got all the pen right here. Okay,
I don't trust
the
electronics.
beginning of the movie. Will the beginning of the movie start with the MMAman in the ring, like losing again or something?
No.
Or is it going to start with Raiden, like viewing it from
Outworld.
Outworld?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's gonna like look in this thing and he's gonna be like have this look on his face like, that's the boy right there.
Yeah.
But he sucks at MMA.
Yeah, but then it's going to go into the crowd. Okay, you're going to see MMAman. He's going to be in the ring. He's going to have his dukes up, and he's going to be looking just like so deep
Fighting
into
for
the
his
dude's
whole
eyes.
career.
And then all the way across, like in a soft focus, there'll be a man in a triangular, large brimmed hat. That's going to be Raiden. And then it's going to go to Raiden's perspective.
Okay.
And he's just going to watch him just suck so bad.
But then he's going to see something though while he's fighting.
Yeah.
He's going to there's going to be something like glow or something.
Yeah.
There's going to be something
To
different
let him know that he's a different.
that he is
kinda-
different. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say that he's going to see a hesitation. I'm going to say that he's going to see a hesitation in his movements or something that he's doing that he knows he's clearly holding back. Secret superpowered. He has to maintain it secretly because if he doesn't, he can't coexist with society.
This is getting a little bit Candy in the Van-esque. I mean, because it's like he's got to go up there and be like, hey, MMAman, come with me in my van to a magical land.
See, I don't think he's going to get abilities or even know about abilities until he's already
Yeah,
in
he's gonna have to
Outworld.
fight a few tournaments.
He's going to have to
matches.
figure it out later because I mean Johnny Cage can fight without abilities,
And so can Liu Kang.
But
But
so
he's
can
got
Liu
some.
Kang. But
It's as they level up.
Yeah.
gotta
So
level 'em up.
So we're pretty sure Raiden's going to be the one to get MMAman and take him to Outworld, right? I mean,
Yes.
that's kind of
Wait,
Raiden's
is that
deal.
his name
That's what he
now?
does.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I said to
MMAman?
begin with. MMAman.
Oh, hold on. Let me find his actual name.
No, we don't want to
No,
know
no,
that.
no,
We don't
no,
want to
no,
know that.
no,
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 no.
no.
Put that away.
Actually, I think you named him earlier, Duke, when you said he put the Dukes up.
No,
What if his name's
that's
Duke?
another
Duke
word for
MMAman.
this.
Yeah, I think that's probably what he's going to be. But yeah, he's going to go. It's the rest of the movie. They're going to squeeze in the whole Scorpion Sub-Zero like back and forth thing, which the whole movie should probably be about their epic history
That's what I'm
through
hoping.
time.
That's what
They're
I'm
probably
hoping.
just
But it's
gonna
not going to be
breed-
that because
No.
they've got MMAman starring at the front of the poster with all the other characters we know and love in the background, and it's just all about him and his stupid wrapped fists with the stupid cloth that's got blood on him,
His name is Cole.
and he's going to get knocked down.
Just saying. His name is Cole.
Not my MMA-man.
His name is Cole. So your prediction is it's awful.
And then it's going to end with Sub-Zero. He's about to attack him. Sorry, you were doing all that while I was talking. I didn't hear any of it, so I'll have to listen to it later.
It'll be amazing while you're doing it.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sub-Zero is going to do something like freeze somebody. And somebody's going to go, "Well, that's cold." And he's going to go, "No, this is coal." And he's going to punch him. And that's going to be it. That's going to be the end.
The end of the movie.
end of the movie. It's going to be him making a pun about his own name. And then
Hopefully they
Sub-Zero's
get
frozen
pretty
finger.
creative with these fatalities, though.
All
I'm
it's
ready
gonna
for a
be-
gore
it's gonna-
fest.
It's going to end with MMAman just giving him a good solid right hook, and then it's a frozen oil painting, and you hear "Eye of the Tiger."
But what could MMA-man's possible powers be?
Well, he's just gonna
is he
have
have,
like,
like,
he's just
thrill
gonna
of
rip an
punching?
epic fatality at the end. Like
I,
he's
I-
gonna.
I feel like he's gonna throw a punch, and you know how in some movies where it's like almost like stutters there. It's like, and then he like punches a jaw off of a man. I feel like
blood.
it'll be something like goofy,
And like
that.
whipping threads of gore just
Yeah,
splatter
like,
the walls.
He's gonna be real dehydrated and vascular, and his veins are gonna glow like a funky color, like red or purple.
Tell me more.
Yeah,
like to
Bane, he's
transform
gonna
that
look like-
body into the action hero that
Yeah.
he
Who
was
knows?
born to be.
He is a blank slate. So if they take an epic twist with him and give him something over the top, that might be enough to hook somebody into the idea of him as a character. But if he is just MMAman,
But shouldn't we?
Cole. He's gonna
I
suck.
think I'm with y'all now because I never really thought of the implication of a whole new character. Like, shouldn't this be Liu Kang's movie? Hasn't it always been his story?
Not anymore. It's Cole's story now.
Oh, that's cheap. That's kind of cheap, right?
Yeah.
From the get-go.
I wouldn't mind one about Raiden.
oh man,
Any of them.
Any of
Any
them.
of
Well,
them.
to me, Raiden's my favorite just because he's super cool.
what if it's a tag team that we didn't know was going to be a crossover with the classic arcade game Double Dragon?
What if the whole movie's a side scroller?
Oh boy! Now I like it. Now I'm back. Yeah, without the introduction of that without the introduction of that character, like I think it might have had a chance. But if you're introducing a human character, new character, there's no way he's going to have less than 20 minutes of screen time. Like, no way.
Yeah, why would you do that?
You won't. You won't. They won't.
Yeah, because like I said, this literally happened hours ago, so I didn't have time to think about any of it. I was just like, ooh.
It's gonna be
I
the
can talk about
whole.
that.
It's gonna be the whole. Maybe people that don't know much about Mortal Kombat are gonna like get more connected to this new character because they're new
Which
to the
is
series.
automatically a
Who's
mistake.
gonna pay money to watch a Mortal Kombat movie that doesn't already know about Mortal Kombat? It's Mortal Kombat.
Was this produced
Kids
by
that never
the
played it know what
by
it
the
is.
writers of Game of Thrones? Like the
No, I don't know.
It's just-
That's what I
it's
was
actually,
thinking.
It's
Yeah.
Warner Brothers.
like
so
like
I'm not sure.
Mortal Kombat. Like we get it, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of the magic out of it, and we're going to make it more acceptable for,
make it for, like, you know, soccer
quarterbacks
moms.
and like soccer moms, so they can understand it more.
Gross.
By making MMA-man.
MMAman,
MMA.
It's probably gonna be like
and
the,
his real name is Cole.
probably gonna be like the briefest touches on like Sub-Zero and Scorpion and all the cool characters that we know and love. They're just gonna like be there one time, do their thing one time, and that'll be it because of frickin' MMA-man.
I just.
Now the question though is
How wrong are we gonna be?
Raiden pictured yet or mentioned in anything?
That
He's
is a good
mentioned.
one.
I would love if he came back as what was his name? If Christopher Lambert. Is that his name?
That would be awesome.
No, that would be great for him to reprise the role. Is he
Yes.
still around? Is he
Yeah,
alive?
Yeah. I mean, There can only be one.
Yeah, he's immortal. He's
That's
Raiden.
another movie he was in, and it was called The Highlander.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Well, we're probably all just going to be wrong,
I hope.
right?
I hope it's great, but I
Probably.
don't think it. I'm kind of cynical about it, like y'all.
Yeah.
But it's like not one of those things that I have a lot invested in. So it's.
No.
I mean, it's a freaking.
Yeah.
What is it? An arcade game?
Yeah.
So the lore, if they mess up the lore and everything, it's not like I'm going to lose sleep like I have.
They've
over other
retconned
things.
that through. They've retconned it through so many different titles, like of the games, that it doesn't matter anymore.
Now, how much did you play DC versus Mortal Kombat?
Oh, I played that a lot. because
I
DC
whipped
characters
the
are in it.
heck out of that game.
And
That
then
was
Injustice.
very fun.
Injustice after that
Yep.
was really good. Well, I think I've got about 5 minutes to talk about Chris Evans. Is that okay?
Do it.
Okay, here we go. So apparently, I'm pretty sure it's all rumors. You could even say people have heard it through the grapevine.
Cha-ching.
They're saying that he's going to reprise his role as Captain America in some new project. There's been my Twitter feed's been blowing up with it, but it's also a lot of people that have heard it from one source that has comic book in the name, like to where they're not a legitimate source of anything. They just hear rumors and spread them out. But it feels like something that everybody's grabbing onto that and is running with it, like all these different places, because I think Chris even tweeted first time hearing about it. So, and when someone like that reaches out and says that, I don't know. Sometimes they kind of have to do that because if it's supposed to be under under the table thing, then they need to do whatever they can to make sure that information's not getting out. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. But then I also think that people are scared of where Marvel's going to head now that all these characters that we know and love as, these superheroes, because to my memory, there's no one else that's ever played an Iron Man or surely there was an old Captain America TV show or something.
Yeah.
There had to have been. Yeah. I don't know.
I have thoughts on what I would love to see in that regards to him coming back.
Okay.
This has to do with the way that my brain webbed it together. Deadpool 3
Okay.
just talked about...
If he just shows up.
No, I mean, Deadpool 3 is going to be rated R, and it's going to be included in Marvel canon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be
the
great.
first two also?
No.
No. Well, no.
I mean, they were
Loosely.
rated R. But
Because also they
X-Men.
were in the X-Men stuff, but X-Men is also owned by
But that's
Marvel
what I'm
again.
saying. So Disney actually owns those.
They
now.
own all of that.
Right.
They can. This could be the beginning of a bigger, more expansive universe.
But we've already ran out Iron Man and Captain America. I mean, obviously they could come back, but what actor's gonna want to reprise those characters after that?
Not
ending?
this soon, at least. It's got to be a long time.
Chris Evans' character bowed out, though he lived that life that he wanted to live.
It was beautiful.
It finished. He finished his story. We don't need any
and
more.
we finished everybody's.
But that was in
Yeah.
that timeline.
So, I don't know. What do you guys... So, you guys are pretty much in agreement with me as far as, he's done with that character. He's done enough. He's been in, 3 of his own Captain America movies, and then... both of the
All
the
17
Now, is he
Avengers.
all the
reprising
Avengers movies.
Is he reprising his role as Steve Rogers?
I don't know.
Or
I think it's all
Captain-
made up.
Okay.
I think people are just, but it's one of those things where it's not. I didn't just see it on one thing and then was like, oh, this is a rumor. It's a lot of places. It's gotten around so much that he has responded to it on Twitter, publicly saying this is the first time hearing about this. But he can't. But one of the reasons.
Stan Lee's dead. Old Captain America.
Yes.
Old Steve Rogers could be the recurring character that would kind of be he would always be keeping a watch on everything because he's still Steve Rogers, Captain America at heart, even though he's older. But you'll see him from time to time in these Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, just kind of making little.
that would be cool.
He's just hiding behind walls.
Yeah.
He's the
That
Where's
would
Waldo in
be
every
awesome.
Marvel movie
yeah,
from this
he's
point
because
out.
Stan Lee's gone now.
Yeah, and he was the one that popped up in every movie.
Literally every Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So if you could have all of the Marvel continuity be a part of the same universe because all the properties are back where they belong together, then that would mean that he could literally do that.
So you think he'd still be in the old man makeup and just showing up in all the movies from here on out?
It honestly would depend on what if they're doing any time traveling or where it's going to be.
They've already messed around with that.
Because they're probably going to do it again. It's just like the South.
No. Oh, no. Oh, no.
That's a really bad joke.
The timing of it, too, is absolutely horrid.
How much do we got left?
We're done. All right. So, yeah, that's some news. That's some nerd news, though.
I don't think it'd be worth them bringing anybody back just because I think they ended it so well.
Yeah. It was poetic.
That you just... I mean, on one hand, I hate that they can't use these same actors in the same ages that they look like
forever until
like
they're
they have in the
dead.
comics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you can't. So might as well just have your run and then go. But then, you know, can't you have like other people come in and play? I'm like, it sucks that we're never going to see like Wolverine and Captain America on the screen at the same time.
Right. Well, I mean,
Chris Evans is Captain America.
Chris Evans is, yes.
Right. That's the thing I'm
but
talking about.
He already handed the mantle over to Falcon, actually. And he's getting his own show with Winter Soldier. Like, that's Captain America now. Like, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like, he's a really good actor, and he was awesome as Falcon.
Yeah. And I kind of like the idea of, you know, handing down the mantle of all these awesome characters.
Oh, yeah. But I just don't... I think the reason, if it is just a rumor, like, I think people are just grasping at any way they can keep these actors playing these characters forever. Because I think one of the main reasons the newest Avengers video game didn't do very well at all, it's awful. Like, there are so few people actually playing that game, and it just came out this past year. And as a big name title like that. But all the character models in it don't look anything like the characters we know. Like, that's how much these actors are put to the faces of these comic book heroes, especially with them being our first sights of most of them. Except for the Hulk. Hulk's had a whole bunch of different ones. But yeah. So, like, a lot of people were turned off immediately from that video game just because we don't have Chris Evans as Captain America and Robbie Downey Jr. as, you know, Iron Man and all that. Mm-hmm. So, Scarlett Johansson, like, all these actors and actresses that we know and love are these characters, and as soon as they're not, everybody loses their mind. And I think that's what this is. I think people have just lost their mind to the point of, no, there's no way he can't be. You know, he's too young of an actor. It's too big of a role. He can't just give it up. And I'm like, he's the kind of actor, I feel like, that if a character he's been playing, if their story is done, then it's done. I mean, in comics, it's never done.
Would you vote okay on the bill to proposition the studio to make him the recurring character?
If it made sense.
Like, he clearly couldn't be just making a cameo as, like, now I'm the janitor.
No.
Now I work at the movie theater.
No.
But if there's ever anything going on that's, like, super intense or something like that, maybe show him, you know, being able to keep somebody safe while wreckage is, like, going on around him and he's, like, getting him to safety or something. And that's just a quick snippet of, like, his presence there. He still does stuff, but he's no longer...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
I
he
liked
dies
the idea at
not
first.
long after the last time we see him.
I
He's
just
at
don't think
peace
you're ever going to be
at
able to
that
put him
point.
on screen again and enhance it in any
No.
way. Like, it's like he went off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do after that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think they really put a button on his character. Like, I don't think it would make sense. I mean, if they found a way, I mean, they'll probably mess around with time travel later on and go back in time, like, before he turns old, and it's just like, hey, man, we need you. And then that way he comes back, and everybody's like, okay, that's fine. That's exactly what they do in the comics anyway. But just as cliche as it is, I mean, it is a trope, but when you do it to this extent,
But I mean, and that's the thing. These are comic book movies, so I mean, what the
anything
heck?
can happen.
Might as well go for
right.
it.
And I think the sucky part of him not being that role anymore is the fact that he is a young actor. Like, and this is an epic character, and he's done a perfect job of playing the character. I've never heard anyone say anything negative about him playing the character of Captain America because we don't know any other ones. Like, he is him. So I don't know. If it is a rumor, shut up, everybody. Just stop making stuff up.
I really hope that my Mortal Kombat topic wasn't just a rumor.
No,
I mean,
that's
pictures.
like set. Yeah, that's like actual, like, not even set photos. Those are actual, like, real things. So unless it's just a combination of
sorry,
like
guys, we have
fan
to
movies.
edit our last episode. Marcus was really, really wrong. He didn't know what he was talking about.
If we listen to this episode and then we go to look up this information and it's just not there, we'll definitely know that there are timeline skips.
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
right.
But we'll be listening to this episode whenever you do. And then you can listen to us next week on Mondays. We're on Spotify and iTunes and Tiny, what's the one you use? Castbox. We're on all of them. If you can listen to a podcast, just look up Nerd Through the Grapevine and we'll be there. We're also on Twitter at Nerd Grapevine and on Instagram with the same thing. And man, oh boy, which one of you do I pick to do the end thing?
My vote is Kanye.
Kanye? Will you speak on his behalf?
I guess.
Yeah, you gotta. You don't have to do an impersonation or anything.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, hold on. Kanye? Kanye, when life gives you grapes.
Oh, hold on. He said, build your own city and throw them at your neighbors.
The buildings?
No. He said, build your own city and throw grapes at your neighbors.
Throw the grapes at your neighbors after you build your own city.
That's Kanye for you, I guess.
Kanye.
Okay.
It's canon.
Would you guys be my neighbors in the big city?
I mean, I'd live in Kanyeton.
Kanyeton. Go visit Kanyeton. Get grape covered.
Yeah.